this is our lower level upholstery shop, and when I bought the company, we were trying to look for things that we could do to improve the functions, and you know, most of our tools are the same tools we've used forever, but these are actually dog grooming tables. We've added a piece of wood to the top to make them a little bit bigger. It's very beneficial because you can always put it at the height that you need to work with. Something that we added also that I think is great is we added an industrial vacuum flow system. So we have a hose, a vacuum hose, and it plugs in here. But the other nice thing is that we put in floor vents. And so you just sweep towards it and just suck everything up. Another thing we did when we moved into this building, because we're trying to create a healthier work environment, is that we put in these, which you see a lot of times in wood shops to collect dust in the air. But obviously when you're breaking a lot of furniture down, you have dust in the air. And so this system detects dust in the air and kicks on when there's dust. And it's circulating the air through multiple filters that go down to, like, I don't know, 0.2 microns or something. And I was like unsure how they would work, but when you're sweeping the floor and stuff, they will kick on, and I've changed the filters a couple times already. They seem to suck up the dust. So it's great. At the other building, we had like an 80-gallon air compressor, and it ran all the time. And so I bought a 300-gallon air compressor, which is huge, and it's probably overkill. But the amazing thing about it is that it only kicks on like twice a day, and it runs for like less than 2 minutes at a time. So while it's probably slightly louder than the other one, you have like 4 minutes of it running a day compared to it running all the time. And so having that extra large size is very beneficial, because I don't want to hear the air compressor running all day long. We installed a pre-VOS system, which is really easy to install. It's actually aluminum air lines, so water doesn't actually condense in them as much. And if it does, you can open this up right there to get it out. But what's nice is it has all these quick, of course this one's, we have a couple old fittings that are still in there. They work, but they don't, you know how you get the kickback? You don't get the kickback, you push the button and it doesn't actually kick off like that. And then each area has its own turn off valve. And you could buy these in 1, 2, 3, and 4 units so that you can install as many hoses as you want at each station. But yeah, we're just, we want to encourage creativity, and so we're just like trying to figure out how to make our working environment as nice as it can be and as healthy as it can be, because I think everybody in this field is probably eating a little bit of old furniture. When I first bought the upholstery company, I was like kind of amazed at the amount of foam scraps that there were. So as you're cutting the shapes out, you have all these pieces you can't use. You're paying for them to be taken away and thrown in a dump. And it's like, well, what could these foam scraps be used for? And so I tried to look into buying a foam shredder. The only place I could find them were China, and they were all wired differently. And I talked to an electrician about buying one and having it wired differently. Anyway, we go to the first custom workroom conference. I mentioned to people in a class how I would really like a foam shredder. And one of the gentlemen there said, came up to me after class and he said, so in my van outside, I have a foam shredder. I was hoping that I could sell to somebody. And I'm like, what? And so I'd spend hours and hours and hours looking for one. He has one. We've used it in some cushions. I actually, really long cushions, I find it's actually nice for. You know, it gives you more of that feather look because it's not as uniformly tight, but it's actually very comfortable to sit on the shredded foam, kind of like think of beanbag chair or something like that. But anyway, there's no savings in it, because there's a lot of time involved in shredding it, and then you have to make a ticking for the shredded foam, and you have to think about how it's going to compact and oversize it and everything else. And so in the end, there's no actual financial savings, but it is another option for your customers, and it's also keeping things out of the landfill. And we would like to start making potentially some different unique designs of beanbag chairs, and maybe stuffing the beach ball pillows with it. reupholstering is green, and it's a good thing for the environment, but even when you do green things, you're still creating waste. And so we're constantly trying to figure out how to create the least amount of waste possible.